Yeah, really excited to talk today about data complexity, AI, and and the role that that plays in the customer experience, and specifically in the hospitality industry, right? There's so much that goes into that, and would love to learn a little bit about kind of your experience there and how that's helped you in your role at Foxwoods.
Yeah, thank you. So the gaming industry is somewhat unique in technology and AI in that we are heavily, and have always been, and will be for forever, is heavily focused on in-person, on-property revenue. So we're not an e-commerce company. That does complement us in many ways, but that's been our focus. And when we approach technology and how we use it, that on-property experience, we're a people first business. Those interactions are what separate us from our competition. Generally speaking, we all have slot machines, table games, restaurants like that, but it's really the service that separates us. So when we talk about, that's our number one priority, but what we don't focus on is what is that experience when you're not on the property, right? I think the industry in whole has a massive opportunity to help complete that experience. We create highly curated experiences for guests every day when they come on the property. What we don't create is highly curated experiences when we communicate with them through our different channels. So that's why I'm here today, and I think it's a huge opportunity to help complement what that guest experience is and really set us apart.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about some of that data complexity. I mean, the casino business it's 5 industries in one, right? I mean, you have your retail on site, right? You have especially there you guys have the Tanger outlets, right? Underneath you guys have multiple restaurants. There's obviously the casino part of it, right? And then and it's kind of an all-in-one kind of industry. So it's not there's a lot of digital aspects to it, but the majority is digitally driving people, into the casino, right? And bringing them in, which is a little bit harder than, for example, e-com or something where it's just the click of your finger, right? You kind of have to go in and experience it. And, I'm a big advocate for Foxwoods, obviously. It's a great time. You should all, go if you can. But, because of that data complexity, right? A 360-degree view of your customers is really big. Understanding what they're doing on your website, your app. What are they doing at the restaurants? What are they doing? What games do they prefer? And I'm sure that had kind of a big role to play in trying to use a different tool like MoEngage and kind of how is that going to, I guess, play into your strategy today, right? Kind of centralizing that data and really bringing it all together.
Yeah, so we kind of have 2 challenges. One is that we have different systems for different aspects. Some is first party, some's third party, some we have access to, some we don't. And so, with so many different systems, that also is reflected in our comms too. So we could send something, for example, like if you like John Legend, you want to go to John Legend's show, you like to eat at the steakhouse, you like to stay in a hotel and possibly go to the spa on your visit. You could have 4 different communications separate for that, and that's just not a curated and a customized guest experience. So, and that's partially, separate systems, which it's not going to go away. So it's really how do you optimize it, and that's, with a platform that can help you consolidate that, can put you into whether it's email, SMS, soon to be web and app. The ability to organize that data the best that we can with what we have access to. That frees up time for our team to execute less, to have a more customized message to our guest. And at the end of the day, I think have a more meaningful journey with our guests. The amazing thing is that we have an incredibly loyal database through our loyalty program, and that's without any of this optimization or this kind of disparate form of communication. So significant opportunity to round out that guest experience to where whether I'm at home, whether I get a push notification from wherever I am, or whether I'm on property, it's seamless to them and makes sense versus, which can be a challenge today with separate systems and separate kind of tools running those systems.
Yeah, you have a pretty good loyalty program. I've been loyal since 2005. So, I guess you talked about kind of some of that that siloed data and the kind of the lack of, I guess, ease of use, right? So, obviously bringing it kind of into MoEngage is is about, giving your marketers an easier way of communicating without having to kind of, dig too deep. I guess what was your kind of that moment when you realized, MoEngage is the platform that, you wanted to use, I guess?
One of our lead IT programmers was really excited about this opportunity, which that was an aha moment because usually they don't get too excited much, and they're like, "Oh, another marketing integration." But no, it's change. Look, and you go. A lot of people have been through RFP process, and generally speaking, they say they can do what you need, and it comes down to pricing. But it's the culture of change is a challenge. We were used to doing things for many years, but we came to a realization that we weren't going to get to where we need to go doing the same thing. So that was the first step. After that, you go through the process, and kind of through this, and we are early on in this process. We're a few months in, but MoEngage tells you that they are customer first, and that has been very true in our first few months. And we've overcome some hurdles, which is not surprising considering culture of change on our part and learning a new tool on their part and the risk of migrating complex data. But the customer service has been consistent throughout and has gotten through that. And now we're getting to a point where we're currently stood up where we were previously, and now we're starting to talk what are next steps. Now we start to optimize, and now we start to build that roadmap, which includes real-time insights, AI, and a lot of other things. So that's the exciting part. Is and I'm not sure there's one moment, but when you start to get under the hood and understand what we need to do to change, what we need to move forward, and same on MoEngage side, when they start to learn how we operate and what our needs are, it's incredibly exciting to see what we can do after we get past the warming phase, no pun intended.
Yeah, migrations are never fun, and it's always it's always a challenge whether it's easy or not, right? I mean, it's there's a learning curve, and just there's obviously data migration, campaign migration, all of that, and even harder if you're chasing a deadline, right?
Yeah.
So,
Which we were.
yeah. So it's one thing, obviously, to kind of have the vision that you had going into the RFP process, right? Knowing what you want to do, putting it down on paper, detailing out exactly, what the requirements are, and it's another to actually kind of, stand it up and really, see your goals achieved. So I guess, one of the questions I had is, for the first, 6 months to a year, that's not, yeah, 6 months to a year, what are some goals that you have, for the first year?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're currently stood up as we were previously, automated, so no minimal manual intervention. I look at my team's time as a pie chart. The more, we only have so much time to spend driving our business, and the more time on that, the bigger piece of that pie that's focused on strategy and less on execution is a big win for us. That's really one of the biggest reasons that we went through this is how can my team free up more time to think strategically and for QA and all the necessary things that we need to do, and not get bogged down in the execution, which we felt like we were. In addition to that, we just have significant opportunity, organization of data, creating a customer journey, a true customer journey, where we send out messages that are customized to how they do. And we have all the data. It's not an easy thing to organize all that, but when you have the tool that can output that in the way that MoEngage's tool can, that's one of the pieces that we can work around to be more customized. So again, we're early on, but we've had some good early wins. Our email open rate is up 500 basis point without even optimizing in the first few months from where we were previously. So so a lot of opportunity, but also it's also a little overwhelming if you think like, because I'm an idea person. I don't actually do much, but you can, when you think about AI, like how it's infinite what we can do with real-time insights, and so what we talked about with MoEngage team a couple weeks ago is we need you to help us build that roadmap. You have a better understanding of what our goals are now. We understand how your tool works better now. And now we need to work on that roadmap, because what you're going to get from us in the casino industry is a lot of crazy ideas, and some make sense, some don't. But they're going to help us create what that roadmap is, prioritize based on what our goals are, and then we'll go from there. But
Yeah.
It's been a good early start, and we're excited because it's a little bit different. Like normally when you go to the RFP in the gaming industry, you only look at vendors that are prevalent in that industry. But my opinion is you're also going to get just what's prevalent in that industry, and we wanted to stick out a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, I mean, your industry isn't really one industry, is it? I mean, it's so many different things, built into one. But I do get, I mean, especially within the tool, I mean, there's so much, and especially when you do go from, a tool to a tool that you've never, used before, there's a lot of features that, it's going to take a little bit of time to adapt, right? Talk about that crawl, walk, run approach, right? We don't want you just sprinting and starting to, send out crazy campaigns right away, and I think it is, I think the support and the customer success that you get is really key when leaning into a new tool, because I mean, in my opinion, I think it's 50-50 technology and the the service and the support you're getting. So obviously with Foxwoods and the industry you're in, obviously digital KPIs are big, but that's not the biggest, right? It's really driving these people to Foxwoods and really understanding what they're doing on site. And so I guess we talked about obviously AI, right? Need to drop that in every single session we have. What are your, I guess, kind of plans going forward? How do you see that kind of affecting that that on-site experience?
Yeah, I think the gaming industry is somewhat behind in how it's adopted AI. I think the nature of the business and priorities and just kind of still a fairly young industry. But I see it very complementary to what we're currently doing, and it will enhance it as well. I think building that journey to where when you're on property and you get a message, or when you're on property and you get a message, or you're off property and you get a message, it's all very seamless, and that is not seamless today. We have large buckets of segmentation. We're somewhat limited by what our capabilities are, but what our platform is, and how we operate. So to be able to break that down and round out that experience is going to be a significant competitive advantage that I don't think is prevalent in the industry. The other one is like real-time insights. So when you have a 9 million square foot property with 1,900 hotel rooms, 5 casinos, 35 restaurants, zip line, go-kart, arcade, the opportunities to engage guests in real time are significant. I guess it's a jackpot on a Buffalo Grand machine. That's Dylan's favorite. Right, told me. Yeah. If they had a jackpot and they're a high-valued guest, to be able to instantly send them a push notification, say, congratulations on your jackpot on the Buffalo Grand machine. We're going to invite you back next week for dinner at your favorite steakhouse at Foxwoods. So to do that yesterday would take a lot of manual, like a 24-hour team, a lot of manual intervention, and it probably wouldn't go great. But the ability to be able to do that, to complement what our core business is that unique experience and creating memories for our guests, is incredibly powerful. So we're still in the infancy of it, but excited about MoEngage and what they feel like they can bring to help us get there.
Yeah, we're excited too. It's pretty crazy, honestly, to think. I went to school obviously in Fairfield, and to think that I kind of got to, now I'm 31 and finally working with one of my favorite brands over the past 15 years. It's been a little surreal, but we really appreciate you kind of joining us on stage and talking and providing some insights to everyone here. I guess before we kind of wrap up here, anything I guess you can say to people here, any kind of learning curve, key insight, something you want to kind of leave behind.
Yeah, I think just going through this process is just be realistic with what you're trying to accomplish. Really focus on building out that roadmap, prioritizing. We did have a timeline that we mostly needed to work on. But open and honest communication got us there. It's hard to learn a new industry, a new business, new client, new tool in a short amount of time, but we were able to do that. But I never want to underestimate the importance of complex data sets and the team that powers those on a daily basis. There's always going to be human intervention, but the goal is for that human intervention to be more strategic and less time on the execution part, which is why we're going down this Mo Engage path, and we're excited about it. It's been fun.
2 free trips a year now, so
There you go.
there we go.
Fun for you.
Yeah, it is
For us.
every time. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, love partnering with you guys, and really excited to see what happens over the next couple of years.
Thank you, and thank you to the team.
Yeah. Thanks.